All right, our website is really disgusting. It's time to make this thing look beautiful with Bootstrap and some CSS. And I'm going to teach you an awesome Django principle that really helps to make Bootstrap that much easier. So to show you this, typically what I do when I finish working on the functionality of the site, I like to make sure it's completely functional, then style it. What I do is I first go to getbootstrap.com. Okay, and I'll hit the, get started button here. And if you go ahead and scroll down, there's this really great template that just says, here's a basic HTML document. Here's where the head stuff goes, like where you can specify the title. And then, here's a body, and it imports the JavaScript for you, the CSS, all that great stuff. So I'm going to copy everything that's here, and I'm going to come to, for example, my homepage. Okay, so I'm going to come to my homepage, go ahead, paste this in up at the top, and then I'm just going to take Nick's portfolio, all these things, that for loop. Got to make sure I grab the whole tag. There we go. So I'm going to cut this and now paste it inside of the body here. So I'm going to paste that, save this, and then just by doing this one thing, the page is already looking a little bit better, right? We've got like Nick's portfolio and stuff like that. And eventually here, I want to add like a navigation bar. So if I go ahead and search at Bootstrap for like a nav bar, there's some really good examples. So, maybe I'll just go ahead and grab like this big one here. This is just to show you an example here. So I'm going to come even before I do my H1 tag, and I'm going to paste in this nav bar and save this. Then I'm going to come back to my home page, reload this. Oh, and there I had to scroll up to get to the nav bar. But there you can see it, and it's like, oh, okay, you could see how I could start building this site piece by piece to make it look really good, like something like this. But the one issue that we're going to run into for this is like, especially with this nav bar, let's say now I want to style the blog page. Well, I would have to follow basically the same procedure. And in fact, I could try and cut some corners by saying, okay, I'm going to take basically everything all the way through the nav bar, up to the H1. So I'm going to copy this and go to all blogs here. And then I'm going to paste this up top. But then I got to add the bottom stuff. So after all those things, I got to get like the JavaScript and the ending HTML. And then I'm going to go to the bottom of this, paste that in, save it. So now I can reload this page and it's got all those things. But you can imagine adding this to every single page. It's going to get really cumbersome. And for example, let's say, oh, you know what? I actually didn't want this thing to say link. I wanted it to say, about or something. I wanted to change something about the nav bar. I would have to go to both all blogs and home and anywhere else that I have that nav bar and update every single place I wanted that change to happen. So obviously that is not a great setup. The fix to this is using a base template. And a base template basically means that you can take one template and extend it over into other templates so that you don't have to keep rewriting code. And a perfect example of that is the nav bar. So if we were going to do this in our project, I would go to my templates here inside a portfolio, and I'm going to create a new file here, and I'm going to call it base.html. It doesn't have to be called base. That's what I just like calling it because it's sort of the base of every single page after this. And basically, I'm going to take everything that I have on my home page, paste it into this file, but instead, after the nav bar where there's the stuff that's on the actual home page, I'm going to delete all of this. Okay, so really, all that I have is what I started with in that Bootstrap template and that little bit that I added with the nav bar. So really what I want to do is inside of this base.html, I want, for example, the homepage code to come here. When I'm on the homepage, when I'm on the all blogs page, I want the all blogs code to come here. If I'm on a blog detail, I want that to come here. And the way to fix this is using something called blocks. So I'm going to use a curly bracket and then percentage signs. And I'm going to say block and give it some sort of names. So I like the name for content because it's like the content of each page, but this is just a name that I made up. You have to use the term block on the left, but you could say content or anything else that you want here. And then you have to do after this, the curly brackets with percentage signs and then say end block, all one word. So now that we've done this, I'm going to save this and now come to my home.html. I'm going to get rid of that ending bit. I'm going to keep like the end for, and then here up at the top, I'll keep Nick's portfolio, but the nav bar, everything else, I'm going to delete that. And instead, I'm going to do my curly brackets percentage and say extends. And then I'm going to put the name of the file that this is extending. So you'll see how this works in a second. But I'm going to say portfolio/base.html. And then I'm going to do a curly bracket with the percentage signs and say block content. It's really important that the name here matches what's inside of the base.html. And then I'm also going to do inside of here an end block. All one word. Okay. So if I save this and then I come back and reload my home, got to get to the home page. Okay. You will notice everything is there. And what's happened here is we've said, okay, if I'm going to go look at the home page, first, it's going to pull in everything from the base. So it pulls in all of this code here, but it says, inside of the middle of base, I should add some block content. It says, home, do you have any block content? And look, here's a block called content. So it squishes all this stuff into that space and shows it there. So we can take this, for example, inside of our home. Let's go ahead and just copy this code. And let's apply this to our blog detail, right? Which we haven't done any styling with. This is all it takes now. I just have to paste this up top. And then at the bottom here, say with the percentage signs, end block. Add back that percentage sign, save this. And now if I go ahead and go to /blog and pick on one of these, look at that. It still has the nav bar and all that good stuff. So to really make this full circle, we'd want to go ahead and copy this, go to our all blogs and, change all of this that we have here. Okay. Oh, yeah, we want to keep that hello blog. That was part of our original thing. Delete that, paste in this, and then at the bottom, we'll replace this with just a simple end block. Okay. So now by doing this, if I go back to just showing all the blogs, it's got that. So I'm going to prove to you here. So for example, with that nav bar, if I change this to about, now all I have to do is go to my base.html, scroll up to where I have the link. I'm going to change this to say about, save that. And now when I reload it, oh, it's true on this page. And it's true on the home page, and it's true on any of those blog details. So you can sort of see how this makes things much, much cleaner. I no longer have a blog 3 in there. That's why. Wonder which blog I have left. We can find out by clicking on this. Blog 8. See? Interesting stuff. But anyways, you can see the power of extending templates, having that base template. Pretty awesome stuff. Okay, so that was a great concept. Our website still looks like garbage, so let's go ahead and talk about that in the next one.